back to News Geelong. For sale, the current Surf Coast office site following the state government decision to abandon its previous commitment to buy the site. Ian Nichols reports.
This is the home of the Surf Coast Shire in Grossmans Road, Torquay, a building that's been here since the 1980s. But by the end of this year, a brand new complex will have been completed on the Surf Coast Highway. Now, this building is for sale, and expressions of interest are being called by the Surf Coast Shire. We're speaking with their Chief Executive Officer, Mark Davies.
Well, look, it's a very valuable site in Torquay. We're not closing our mind to anyone, so we're running an expression of interest process where anyone who's interested in purchasing the site can express an interest, and council will assess those the EIYs in a month or two time. I guess at one end of the spectrum it could be developed into a housing. The other end of the spectrum it could be an aged care facility. The Lions Village have got some units out the back. They've shown some interest in the land. Because of the growth in Torquay, Jan-Juc, there needs to be some more health service provision, so likes of Bowen Health might show some interest. So I think there's a real opportunity for this land to be really quite a valuable offering to the community.
Well, you've just called for the expressions of interest, so it's very early days, and you're getting on well with your, in spite of the rain and recent flooding, with the new precinct on the Surf Coast Highway. And it's going to be a bit of a juggling act, I suppose, to get it all to marry together. There might be a little situation where perhaps one is not sold and the other is nearly completed. Have you thought about how that's going to affect the finances of the Shire?
Yes, look, we certainly have. We've got contingency plans in place. The funding from this side only represents about 10 or 11% of the total funding package. Most of the funding's coming from state government and developer contributions and reserves that council's been building up over the last few years. Worst case scenario, it didn't sell in time. Council could easily borrow that money within the prudential limits set by the state government, and that could be done in the short to medium term until the right price is obtained. So there's certainly no need to have a fire sale. Council's got plenty of time to sell the site, and we want to get as much money as we can out of the site for the community.
At the current home of the Surf Coast Shire in Torquay, this is Ian Nichols for News Geelong.
Thank you, Ian. Victoria saw 2010 with a record low road toll, and the 2011 year continues on the same trend at the moment. Meryl Friend reports.
I'm here at the TAC and they've just released the latest statistics for the month of January, and I'm very happy to announce that it is the lowest fatality figures ever recorded. So this is a definite positive for the roads of Victoria. We were able to speak with Phil Reid about the statistics.
Yeah, look, unfortunately, good news in road safety is always tinged with a little bit of bad news. We got a very pleasing result in January when we saw road trauma come down to record levels, particularly in the death toll. Only 18 people killed on Victoria's roads. Unfortunately, that still means 18 Victorians have already lost their lives this year, and we simply as a community can't accept that sort of outcome.
Now, the statistics really, they started in 1951, and from that time there was a staggering maximum of 85 in 1970.
Yeah, we've seen road trauma tend to come down, but records are surprisingly few and far between. So while the overall trend has been good and has continued to come down, while the number of vehicles has gone up, we still see some staggering figures. It's back in, I think about 1970, we saw 85 people killed in the month of January, and it's 21's the previous lowest we've got to in a January month before. I think that was in about 2006. So these figures do vary. It's nice to see them coming down, but the records are few and far between, and wouldn't it be great to have no deaths in a single month?
And that is achievable if people do the right thing?
Look, one simple avoidable mistake can be the difference between life and death on our roads, and we've got to get people understanding that message. We've got to get people slowing down, exhibiting all the very best driving behaviours, not just some of the time, not just most of the time. Every time they get behind a wheel, they need to exhibit the very best safety behaviours in a car.
And of course, unfortunately, there are some targeted age groups that are still more at risk.
Yeah, look, young males, my grey hair sort of indicates that I'm past that age group now, but young males, we do know there's certainly a sense of bravado that exists there. And I think what we're constantly struggling for is for people to understand it's not just about them, it's not just their lives. Road trauma impacts on their communities and their families in devastating ways, and in ways where they'll carry the consequences for years and years. We've simply got to get better and get young people to understand that impact, particularly young men.
From the TAC, Meryl Friend, News Geelong.
Thank you, Meryl. The Ballerina District Netball Association and the Geelong Unity Netball Association have combined to create the Cardinia Park Junior Development Competition, as Steph Cowdery reports.
I'm here at Cardinia Park speaking to President of Ballarat District Netball, Kathy Jennings, and Geelong Unity Netball, Liz Coles, about their upcoming Saturday netball competition, where in a few short months these courts here, which will be refurbished, will be open for business and a new competition will be started. Can you tell us how Geelong Unity got involved in this new competition?
Yes, just before Christmas I had a phone call from Kathy Jennings, who's the President of Ballerina District Netball Association. It's an idea that we'd certainly floated at our committee meetings at Geelong Unity to have a more informal Saturday competition, and Ballerina had some ideas as well, and we've come up with this concept with a training session and then a game. We have some capabilities for training umpires and training coaches, so instead of kids having to go to training one night a week or maybe even 2 nights a week and then play on Saturdays, they'll get their training and their game all in the space of the one time. The competition will start as soon as the courts here at Cardinia Park are ready, which will hopefully be the 2nd of May, if not the week after, but certainly that's the date we're hoping, so school term 2. And there's a contact number, which will be my number, or Nola is a contact for the Ballerina Association, so there'll be lots of advertising in the paper and things, so contact numbers will be available then.
The competition is all about junior development, and of course being the home of netball, which is Cardinia Park, there's always room for a new competition, and it will be developing players from Net Set Go, San Remo Net Set Go, 11 and unders, 13 unders, 15 unders and 17 and unders. Incorporating with those teams, we will have coaching and junior development. And also those players that come and register with our competition will be eligible to be included in the representative teams that representing Ballerina. It's a stepping stone. Every competition is a stepping stone for players. The representative is the next stepping stone, and then the Barwon region interstate. If they've got the opportunities to play at the association championships, they can be talent identified, and we'll ensure that happens as well.
Stephanie Cowdery at Cardinia Park Netball, News Geelong.
Thank you, Steph. This is News Geelong. We'll return with our Friday sport and weather reports after this.